Thank you for staying with us right here on Good Morning Kenya. Now, from Eye on Politics, we get into transformative leaders. And joining me on this particular segment is Simon Awene, who is the founder, Slum Story Youth Network Organization. Now, Simon is working with different communities just to ensure that he is making change. And for that reason, he is our transformative leader for the day. Simon, welcome to Good Morning Kenya.
Thank you very much.
How are you feeling this morning?
I'm feeling okay.
Yeah. The cold outside?
The cold outside is okay. It's well balanced.
It's just okay.
Yeah.
If we can just get straight into you telling me what got you into this space where you want to see a change in the environment that you're in.
I think it's my story. Yeah, that's what got me into the space.
Do you mind getting into your story a little bit?
Maybe a little bit. I think back in 2005, I cleared my KCP, and then I scored a good mark. That's around 380. But I found, depending on the family I was raised in, I was unable to join secondary school. So I was coming to Nairobi to go and do a course in driving so that I can become a matatu driver. And I liked that. I wanted to become a Matri driver. But along the way, I met a woman, and I have to say her name.
Please do.
Madam Irene Tongoi of New Dawn, Kenya. She started a community school through a CBO called New Dawn, Kenya, in the slums of Huruma. And then I joined secondary school. I started my secondary education there in an iron sheet church. And we were sitting on a bench, and that was my Form 1. And with my marks, actually, you can now think of the guys who got 380s were in good schools, Shianda, Sawagongo, and Nyanza, very good schools. That's what motivated me to be here.
Yeah, so from that time, from that young age, did you already know that when I grow up, when I manage to finish my education, I'm going to make sure that I try and make a change in someone's life?
Not really, but the school, the village, the slum is just next to Runda. But what was amazing is people who are in Runda, we have so many barriers in Runda, could not cross over the barriers to the village to come and see what is happening in the slums of Mji wa Huruma. But people from US, in Michigan, in Mississippi, would come all over to Africa and pray for us there. Then I said, I think if we can have people, maybe we can create awareness about what is happening in various communities, it will be more better than praying for missionaries to come from all over US to come and support a very small. Can you imagine a school fee? A school fee of a secondary school fee is around 53,000. And this is a village next to Runda. And we are praying for someone to come from Nashville, Tennessee in US, pray for us and pay a school fee for us. To me, that is what challenged me, that one day when I've cleared my education and get an opportunity, I will continue to serve my community at that smaller capacity that I am able to do. So that I know I always do not wait for somebody somewhere that I do not know to come and do a small thing that I can do at my own capacity. Yes.
There's something about how our locations are positioned, and I don't know how it came about, but that's a story for another day. Where where there's a slum, there's always like a posh estate just around. I don't know how that came to be, but anyway, that's not what we are here to talk about today. So if you can just tell me about this organization that you run, this organization that you are the founder. It's called Slum Story Youth Network. What is it all about?
It's all about youth empowerment through music and art, because from my Form 4, I first ought to have done to go and do DJ course at Homeboys Radio. And the love of music production and everything have always been there. So I said, every time you walk in these slums, ama kwa kila mtaa, you find the youth that are idling in those bases are talented either in music, football, or any other talent. So it is always easier to approach someone using through their talent. When you approach someone through their talent, it is easier to cause a change that you need in them. And that's how even myself, I was caught from the village through the talent into the secondary school. And now that is what I continue to do. So Slum Story Youth Network Organization basically is just an organization that empowers youth through music, art, and sports.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how do you identify them? How do you identify those who are talented?
Currently, we have a music recording studio, and we also have various partners through the hybrid beats. That's Vides, my producer. We always sometimes go on WhatsApp groups or our Facebook and say, so long as you are talented, reach us out. And then we will have a number of youths coming from various communities around, and then we will go for the best.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's not just about people in one particular community, say Huruma, just Huruma.
No.
It's open to everyone across the country?
Yes, in Nairobi.
Or in Nairobi.
And across the country.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
long as you are sure you are needy and you are not able to pay that. Yes. It is free. This is non-profit. Yes.
So for those who would love to come join you, you can share where they can find you as we go on with the interview. Yeah,
we will share. I think the studio is in Umoja, and basically the offices are in Westlands. So that's how we are located.
Yeah.
Yes, so we'll share our contact, but you can as well reach us on Facebook.
Yeah.
Just DM. The name is there, Simon Awene. And the Slum Story Youth Network Organization is there on Facebook, in any other social media platform.
Okay.
Yes.
It's good that you're tapping into their talents, that is that the youth of the talent of the youth that we have in this country, because I feel like we have so many talented people in this country, so many of them, especially if we're talking about just music alone. We have so many talented people, and you know, it's a pity that maybe in this country people don't really get to earn from their talent as much as we see, you know, their counterparts outside the country, you know, mainly in the Western world. You know, people really live off of their talent. Some of the people who are who earn the most money is from their talent, you know, basketballers, footballers, musicians. And it's a good thing that you're tapping into that. And according to you, do you feel like talent can really get someone out of poverty?
Yes, yes.
Is it possible in this country?
Yeah, but it must be a controlled talent. You don't just come and, for us, we don't go for, you just come and rap any other thing you like. We have thematic areas. For example, we serve the community. So if our area, for example, we are focusing on retention of maybe a girl child in school, or we are focusing on a pupil life, depending on the area that we are going to work on, we will now be giving thematic areas where you can come and do your music around. So that you don't just do music for fame, for popularity, but you also do music that is going to create change, a message that is going to augur well with a specific thing that we are doing in the community. We don't just want people to come and rap all along any other thing, and then you say you are a good artist. Yeah, you can do that, but for us, we are not so much into that. Yeah, you have themes for the specific thing that you want to be put out there. Yes. Now, you also have another project that you are undertaking or taking up right now with a different group. If you could just shed some light on what this other project is all about. Yeah, actually, the project we are doing, there's a time we went to Siaya to do the documentary of the former governor, Rasanga. Then we asked the governor, give us your story. And he took us to schools all over Siaya. And there are some of the stories that we were now coming up with, we were meeting, that we asked ourselves through through the Rescue Media. We were doing this in partnership with Rescue Media. Rescue Media is headed by Patrick Ngaire. And when we asked Pato, do you think we're just going to shoot these challenges of these kids, show them on a TV or on a YouTube and leave them like that? Then so what? Then we said, I think we'd rather go back. Instead of just recording these videos, we also try and do something. And that is what has provoked us to do the current event that we are doing in Siaya. We said, we were born in September, a number of 4 or 5 people of us who are serving the organizations. We said, why don't we go and celebrate our birthdays there? But we do it differently. We bring our organization, we try and focus on, there is a certain school, maybe probably I will not mention, that when we were talking to the teacher, we found out that 30 girls were missing in class in Siaya. And when we asked why, we were told probably some challenges. And some of the challenges we were given is the heat that they are feeling on the effect of GPV in rural areas is greater than what people are feeling in Nairobi. Because in Nairobi, you divorce your husband, you pick your kids, you drop them Mushago, unaoga, unarudi soko, then unasahau what is happening with those kids. Those kids are going to school barefooted and they are walking a long distance. Na ile joto ikosea, the sun is differently from what we are experiencing in Nairobi. Nobody's caring mtoto anaenda shule aje. And that's the challenge that we are having. Huyu mtoto anaenda shule aje. The school fees. And then I was tempted to ask a certain boy, mbona nguo yako ni chafu hivi? And he said, Babu refused that we could not use his soap because mom doesn't send money from Nairobi.
Wow.
So soap inaweza distract mtoto kwenda shule na kusoma. A very small thing. So what are we doing? We say instead of just donating soap, we go and train them on how to make liquid soap. But are we also going to train them on how to make... So there are days we are focusing on permanent solution and also temporal solution. Temporal solution, kuna mtoto ajai tumia toothpaste tuko ushago. Ajai, hata mimi nilikuja kutumia nikiwa Nairobi. It is true. And you ask yourself, if a girl in Nairobi anaweza kosa kuwa na challenge ya maybe haizi kuwa na enough panties to change, how about a lady in rural areas? So we said, even if we donate sanitary pads, are we sure huyu mtoto akona panty yenye yaza tumia kuchange this one? So we said we are going to focus on the whole hygiene to encourage retention in school so that easy absentees at least zipungue for a better result. Yes.
And it is such a pity to know that there are still areas, around the country in this time where there are girls who miss school. You were telling me earlier there are girls who miss school every month because they're on their periods because, well, they don't have sanitary towels. So they'd rather stay at home instead of them coming to school and, go through the shame of, them messing up their uniform and all that. But okay, you're trying to make a change, but how can we just change this for the better and for good? Because you are doing your part where you can, but then what about these other schools that, no one is going there to try and help them with one thing or another? What is to be done? What should be done to just try change this completely? Because it's such a pity.
There was a time I was making a joke that I think it is high time we also start electing men as women reps. If perhaps they can think better in terms of these issues. Because
that is really a statement that is not light. Because
the reason why am I saying this? The role of a woman rep should focus mostly more on these challenges that we are talking about in the community. Is an affirmative position. You can right? But now look at what is happening. You go to those schools and you ask them, do you know your leaders? They will tell you, yes, I know the MP, I know probably the MCA, and the name of the governor they can say. And that marks the end of the leaders they know. So I think what we need to do, before we blame the elected leaders, we, people who are serving the community, we also ought to have done something at our own capacity so that we don't just sit there and wait for somebody somewhere we don't know to come and do small things for us. Let us create an awareness of what is happening in our various communities. We never know who is watching. We never know who is listening. I think more awareness needs to ought to have been done. Created, yes. Yes.
So how do we take up that mantle of, probably how do we take up that mantle whereby we say that, okay, if my leader is not doing anything about this, I should come in? What responsibility do we all have as humans,
For example, we are going for these school tours. When we reach those schools, we always encourage the school heads also to invite the parents so that we also engage the parents on solution that we are trying to offer. From there, we encourage these parents because registering a self-help group actually is less than 2,000 shillings in Kenya. So we rather help them register a self-help group that can bring them together so that they focus on various challenges that they are facing as a community. Through that, they can now partner with various organizations, various government departments to ensure that that solution is always, that problem is always solved at that grassroots level. Because you cannot go around 47 counties and be sure that you are going to meet each and every person that probably needs your attention. Yes, but we can as well empower those leaders, give them trainings that they deserve, create so that they can continue creating that awareness, continue with that conversation at the grassroots level. That's what we are doing. So when we go to those primary schools, those secondary schools, we also invite their parents. Yes, that's what we do.
Yeah. And you mentioned, I think I went past that, or when you mentioned that this whole thing started, of this project that you're doing right now, it started when you were covering a story, you know, on the former governor, on one former governor, and you went to the school where he schooled while he was in primary school, and then you noticed all these challenges. I don't know if it is right for me to ask this question, but do you mean that this governor does not really know some of these challenges that, you know, this is a former school? I mean, aren't they going back to try do something or change?
I've heard, before I joined the interview, I've heard somebody talking about we are going to plant billions of trees, but they're not saying where they're going to plant them. Now, I can tell you, go and plant these trees in these primary schools. That is where the kids who are coming from various households with various problems, you are going to meet them. As they are going to water these seedlings, they'll be telling you their stories. And from there, you can come up with good solutions so that from the tree planting session, you are also able to learn the community you are going to serve. But you see what is happening? People are just living on mere PR. The question you've asked me is actually a good question. But look at it this way. The 47 governors of this country are also acting as small 47 presidents of this country. They also have their advisors. They also have their political alienation. So if you're not aligned to that certain leader, and the people who are advising them are staying in the office reading newspapers and probably watching a number of things and trying to copy-paste what is happening in the US, in England, and trying to impose those things in the communities. But nobody is advising this governor that is moving around the communities, trying to look into the various challenges that people are facing. For example, we were in a certain school and around the Lake Kanyaboli. By 6, children were fetching water in the lake.
6 a.m.
Yeah, 6 a.m. We were still there. By around 10, children were back. By around noon, children were back. So, paka tunajiuliza at the end of the day, hawa watoto wanasoma saa ngapi? If there was a leader that was also moving around, could have noticed that. That this problem of water is actually affecting the education system. It is actually distracting the learning progress classes. Nobody is doing that. And then we asked somebody I will not mention, are you sure this is happening? And he said, where? Where? I think we did this, we built this, we opened roads. These governors are more focused on opening roads. Why roads? The contractor is coming with money and there is a lucrative deal. So we go do that road hurriedly on Maram, then we leave it there. But when we are constructing the road, was the governor there to inspect the road? Because when you are inspecting the road, you will meet also the community members along the road. And maybe you will be able to get a problem or two that needs your attention. But nobody is going down there. The governors are staying at the headquarters office with big chase cars, police officers and everybody else. And the advisors are now acting as, you know, we are the sisi ndio tuko hapa. And you have to listen to us well. For 5 years, and problems are ignored. We were there. I was shocked from the stories that we got from the governor's office and from what we were seeing are completely different. Yes. Yeah.
Well, it's a pity. It's really a pity to see that some of these problems, because I feel like some of them are really minor problems, are really minor when you look at it from the outside, but it really means a lot to that pupil in that school. You know, something as simple as water, as you're saying, we may look at it as, you know, there's water, you know, things have been done to ensure that, you know, there's plenty of water around, you know, things like sanitary pads, like we've just talked about, something like, you know, a child is going to school with, you know, shorts that are completely torn. You know, that does something to their psychology, you know. They just won't be able to learn properly because they'll be thinking about, oh, you know, my neighbor here or my classmate doesn't seem to have such a problem as me. How are they looking at me? It's a pity, but I think, just as you've said, we should all just try take that as a challenge and try make change in the smallest way that we can. And as we finish with this conversation, maybe what are some of the similarities that you have encountered or noticed since you've worked with around the slums and the rural areas? What are some of the similarities on the challenges?
People down there in the inner villages are going, I think inner villages are also ghettos in some ways. And nobody have noticed that. I went to school for 4 years without seeing an area MCA coming to attend, maybe or visitors around.
Yeah.
But when I cleared my form 4, the first person to come and ask me, hey, I'm calling youth in a social hall, would like you guys to come and give your views, we are going to vie, was that same councillor. And I was like, when we were suffering down here in the village, where were you guys? So I'm challenging even these leaders. When you see a community, people or different organizations visiting your areas to come and talk to these kids and whatever, take a challenge. You don't need to donate. Just go and listen. Be in attendance. Listen to the problems that people are facing there. Listen to because we are neutral people. We are not these guys that are coming here, they are just only coming to maybe amplify. They are offering that a conducive atmosphere for these people to raise their issues. For me, I didn't say something. You know, when we are going there, and I've just seen a reminder. We are also not leaving our vision behind of empowering youth through music and art. We are also going there with a mobile music recording studio, so that in those schools that we are going, they are also be able to learn on how music is produced. They produce it there, and we do everything and leave it there, so that 5 years down the line, they're able to go back to their YouTube channel of the school, see how a certain organization came, did everything, and they are able to remember, so that memory can keep them going also to do better things in the community. So my challenge is the women rep. I'm in need of women rep of CI. I've heard she's Christine Ombaka, but we've tried to reach her through a number of people, and we are unable to reach her. We only want her to come and sit there and listen. Not really donate anything. Just listen to these issues these girls are talking about. That's all we need. Yeah.
Which is important. Why is it difficult to find her, maybe?
I don't know. Even in the village, you know your women rep? Yes, we know our women rep. When last did you see? Ni ngumu kumuona, but we have her number. The numbers we have here. Yes, but we can't reach her. Yes.
What is the permanent solution to just make an impact that will be long-lasting?
We are trying to look for partners that can help us train these people on how to make reusable sanitary pads. Yes. That's what we are really looking into that. And talking about that one, we have there is a way people can reach us. Yes.
How?
Through a mobile number, if you allow me.
Yeah, you can.
Mobile number is 0722 145 887. 0722 145 887. That is one way that people can reach us. And there is another number, in case that one is not working. Can I still give that? That is 924 7723. That's our pay bill, and you can reach us on that.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, you're supposed to be going to one of the schools on the 29th. If you can just mention that very quickly as we finish.
We are going to actually more than 3 schools, but we are focusing more on one school. That is Segere Primary School in Siaya. But we are going to visit a number of schools around that areas. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much for coming to the program. And I think you really have, I wouldn't say an issue, but you really are calling upon our elected leaders to just come forth and see the things that people are going through on ground, and not just looking at it, just generally, to just come down to where the people who voted you are, so that you understand what their concerns are. Maybe if you want something to say to
about my former school, actually I can talk
about the leader. Maybe you speak to the leaders out there as we finish.
I think the leaders outside there, the only thing you guys need to do, apart from going for the professionals, people who have done degrees, masters in different areas, also go for these local leaders, the people who are heading the CBOs, the NGOs, the self-help groups, at least a number of them to be even sitting in your board, various boards, as advisors. They will bring you the real issues that are affecting the people at the grassroots level. And here in Nairobi, because I went to school in Newton Educational Center in Mjiwaruma, I've never seen a single leader, apart from the area MP, that is Tim Wanyonyi, that have visited that school.
Okay.
I'm challenging you, go and see what people are suffering there, down there in Mjiwaruma. It is similar to what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the impact that you're trying to make in every possible way that you can. Now that is all we had for you right here on Transformative Leaders, but don't you go too far. Good Morning Kenya continues and Family Check is up next.